Another big down day for U.S. stocks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Nasdaq closing at their lowest levels since December. Investors all fretting over the news that was coming out of Japan and also unrest in the Middle East. Deborah Kostroun has the latest from the New York Stock Exchange. Deborah.
Thanks a lot, Pimm. And, it was just a wild day in trading, and we did get another leg down right near the close, so closing not too far off the lows. And traders tell me we just really do not have enough information about the situation in Japan to know if it's getting better or worse. And there's one thing, of course, that the markets do not like, and that's uncertainty. And that's the really big reason we saw the markets lower, because the headlines just coming out fast and furious all day long, and there's a lot of concern that the situation actually may worsen. At one point, the Dow was down 300 points, and we closed not too far off of that. The S&P now down slightly for the year. The Nasdaq down 1.4% for the year. And, after all the selling over the past few days, you would think that traders would want to come in and buy because the valuations got so cheap, but really they say they're just too nervous right now because it's difficult to assess that situation in Japan. And in taking a look at the Japan ETF, really kind of telling the story, down 3.6% in today's session, Pimm.
Now, Deborah, the decline, broad-based. Very few stocks were left up, but there was a different story for treasuries, people going to the safety of U.S. debt.
We did see a lot of buying in the treasuries, and that 10-year yield falling to the lowest level this year as people seeing bonds as kind of the relative safety, at least for right now. And the yen also hitting the highest level versus the dollar in 16 years as investors are buying the yen on the notion that Japan will need to rebuild. And as Pimm was saying, this is really broad-based. All 10 industry groups in the S&P were lower. 30 stocks in the Dow were lower. And it's hard not to mention IBM. That was the biggest drag in the Dow, and they were lower, mainly because Sanford Bernstein cut their rating, but also they get 11% of their revenue from Japan. General Electric, the second worst performer in the Dow, and taking a hit. Remember, GE built 3 of those reactors at the Fukushima power plant in Japan. That's it from here, Pimm. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Deborah Kostroun reporting from the NYSE.